Ron Artest. He's also Metta World Peace. Metta World Peace joining us on behalf of X versus X Sports, a platform bringing together sports professionals, players, and enthusiasts, and facilities the building of offline and online sports communities. Also, Metta has a book, No Malice, My Life in Basketball, available online and wherever books are sold. Metta World Peace, who was, I believe, drafted by the Bulls the year after Michael Jordan retired. Metta, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you for, plugging and always supported. That's much appreciated. Today, it's going well. We trying to get over COVID-19.
Now, what was it like that you go to the Bulls right after Jordan decides that he's going to retire? What was that feeling like that you come to town and then Mike's not even going to be there?
It was an honor, right, to be drafted by the Bulls. I know everything about the Bulls. As a kid, they were my favorite team, very similar to how people love Kobe, how people love LeBron, and you don't really get it until you take a step back and you watch The Last Dance. It's like, oh, wow, I really love, the Bulls, and I felt honored to be drafted to the Bulls.
And then you played he went to the Wizards. I don't know how many times you played against him, but I think he probably had close to 30 on you guys when you played against him. How many times did you face Jordan?
I faced Jordan in the summertime. I love Jordan, a great player. Then I also faced him right when he came back, and he was averaging 25 that year. So I faced a really good, older Michael Jordan, and then I faced the declining older Michael Jordan. I think the next year his productivity went down, but the first year he came back, he was playing amazing.
What was it like to guard him?
It was amazing because he was still able to score. He averaged 25 points, the first year he came back. And, anybody that's averaging 25 points is going to be a problem. And it wasn't easy. He could score the ball.
Did he talk?
Jordan talked. I never got in any trash talking with Jordan. The closest things Jordan's ever said to me was when I was 19 years old and we were playing basketball, he was saying, hey, come back and play, in the summer times.
Oh, wow.
And because I competed against him so hard, and that was an honor, to continue to get back invited. He really and wanted me to guard him also. So it was great.
How did you break his ribs?
It was an accident, so he was, for me, when you let Jordan get the ball, he's going to score. And the only way you can keep him from scoring is if you don't let him get the ball. So I was denying him. And my left hand went over his left shoulder or his left arm. My right arm was positioned to move him out the way and gain position. His left arm had me locked. I remember the play clear as day because he's like my favorite players. And then the referee called the offensive foul on Jordan because he was holding, and I was just trying to fight to get in front. It was summertime. It was an open run. With referees, and it was great. But, unfortunately, I broke his ribs, and I felt like he was going to average 35 that year because he was playing so well. People didn't really see what I saw, but he came back after 3 months of just taking a break, and he averaged 25. And he's just really amazing.
How many would he average given today's rules where there's no hand check in here, everything's spread open here? Metta, what's Jordan average? Peak Jordan, 1991-92, what's Jordan average today?
Well, I would say about the same. I'm not going to say it's going to be any better because, I think it would be about the same. Maybe, he averaged 28 as a rookie. Nobody's averaging 28 as a rookie, right? So he would probably have done the same thing.
But I think everything is spread open. Everybody's on the perimeter, and Mike loved that 15 to 18-foot jumper, and he could take you to the hoop. He's averaging 40 a game, Metta.
You can't touch him, absolutely, because he's so fundamentally sound. He's always on balance, so it's really tough to guard. But I can't see him. James Harden is averaging, 38 right now?
Yeah, but Mike would be better than James Harden.
Well, defensively, yeah, but 38 is 38, right?
Yeah, but Mike averaged that one. Didn't he average 37.1 one year?
I think he averaged that, but I don't think he did. I don't think he averaged 38.
He's going to average 4. There's nobody at the rim to stop him. Who were the great rim protectors? The Lopez brothers?
It's true because, well, the rim protection is coming back. We all know American Bigs was not producing over the last like maybe 5 years, but now rim protection is coming back. But you're right. I think Jordan, it's just hard to say because you can't really see it. But yeah, somewhere around 35 to 40.
What's the difference of guarding Jordan and guarding Kobe?
They're very similar. Jordan's just, I would say Kobe's more of a modern day Jordan, right? And Jordan's probably a more polished Dr. J, you know? And it's a very, very similar. Jordan is more on balance, you know, than Kobe was. But they both were very effective. As we know, they played the same exact way.
He's Metta World Peace, joining us on the program. Tell me, if you approached Kobe about winning a title together, but you weren't on the Lakers when you approached Kobe about winning a title. Do I have that story right?
This story is correct. Well, it wasn't about winning the title, but I did approach him. So after they lost in 2008 to Boston Celtics, I went to that game because I wanted to get some experience on how it is to be in a championship building. So I went to that game. They lose by 30. I'm like, oh, wow, this is an amazing atmosphere. This is what I'm going to expect when I get to the championship games. So then I go back to say bye to Lamar. And then I see Phil Jackson, and I say, hey, where's Kobe? I want to say good game. You know, I'm a big fan. I also interviewed Kobe that year also. When I did an interview with Kobe, and so I'm a fan, and then he was in the shower. I wanted to leave, and then Brian Shaw said he's in the back, and I went to the back. And I just said, hey, tapped him on the shoulder. He was just like kind of mad because they just lost. He was real surprised to see me in the shower. And I just said, I got to go, but I wanted to say good game before I got out because I'm really proud of you. You did a good job. You know, and that was it. It wasn't really saying I wanted to play with you.
Okay.
I was with the Kings at that time. So, you know.
How long did you wear your jersey after the Lakers won the title? Full uniform. How long did you keep it on?
Well, I think I kept a lot of it on for a couple of days, you know. I know I took off I had my shirt on, and then I had my windbreakers on. I still had my ankles taped. Not my ankles, my ankles taped. We did go to a club, so I did go to the club, like maybe 4 or 5 clubs that night. Went to the studio. Dr. Dre recorded me. It was crazy. It was just a crazy night, man.
Wait, you're with Dr. Dre?
Yeah, I was just all over the place in LA. I went to the studio, and my record Champions came out. So Dr. Dre actually produced Champions Part 2, which I never put out. Still somewhere in his hard drive.
I love that. And then you wore 37 for a little while.
Yeah, I wore 37, yeah.
Yeah, but was that actually... once again, you probably have told these stories so many times.
Yeah.
I just like to get fact and fiction here. That Michael Jackson's Thriller was number 1 on Billboard charts for 37 straight weeks, and that's how you chose 37.
Yeah, definitely. You know, definitely. I was trying to figure out. It was like a lot of things. I'm like, what's great? Like, what can you do?
That's great. That's
like amazing. And I was trying to put numbers to greatness, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty great. 37 weeks at number 1. Wow, that's huge.
And okay, and why were you drinking Hennessy at halftime of a game, if that's true, when you were with the Bulls? Is that true that you drank Hennessy at halftime?
That was a blur. I don't remember things like that. Well,
first of all, Hennessy? Come on.
When I was a younger player, I was just, as y'all know, I was a reckless. As you know, I was a reckless kid.
Yeah, a little bit, Bob, but I love your honesty. You know, every time I talk to you, you know, the fact that you sold your championship ring and you donated the proceeds from that. I mean, there's a lot of greatness in your heart there, and I hope you're at a good spot in your life, and what you're doing with X versus X Sports. You know, I hope things are good for you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate it. You know, athletes go through things, and it was the same back then. You know, athlete is always trying to figure out what they're going to do, and then it's the same in the future. So right now, it's just important that we at least could be a support system for any athletes that potentially could be, you know, feeling a certain way and now I think they know they have a huge support system.
But you were one of the first that did this, though, Metta. You came out and you talked about mental health. We've seen some of these athletes, Michael Phelps, Kevin Love. You came out and started talking about this. And, people can look at you two different ways. Like, that guy's crazy, or that guy, the first sign of needing help or asking for help is being honest with people. And I viewed it as, you're just saying, look, I need help. I'm figuring this out myself. Don't look at me as, well, that's the crazy guy who started the malice in the palace there. I mean, there was honesty there. And you put yourself out there.
Absolutely. Why not? Why not? It's a lot. Because, in this world, we try to put on the image. If you're an athlete, you're trying to get endorsements. You're going to put on the image accordingly, right? And, the image is not always reality, right? So sometimes you have to show the reality and the realness, and people can relate. And some people need something to relate to. Because when you look on the commercials, that's just not all real, right? All the time, with the exception of, you have a really great family and orange juice in the morning. Sometimes, you have a little, sometimes you have an argument at night, right?
It's a little different than how you grew up in New York, right?
It's a little different. But now I have orange juice in the morning, right?
Yeah. The book is No Malice. It's My Life in Basketball. X versus X Sports. It's a platform bringing together sports professionals, players, enthusiasts, and online, offline sports community. You got a basketball hoop at the house?
I had to build one, man, because I just thought I can go play basketball. And March 11th, when, the quarantine kind of was set, I ordered a hoop off a website. And, I don't want to give this website any more pub than it's already getting. Amazon.
Hey, Steph Curry did the same thing. Steph Curry moved into a house that didn't have a hoop, Metta.
I know. I was surprised to see that. I'm like, I know I don't have a hoop, but Steph, that's unacceptable.
But you know what I'm thinking? He's so good as a shooter, he doesn't need to practice.
No, it's true. It's true. He's probably, the rim is waiting for him. And it was the hardest thing putting together the bottom of it was the worst. I was so frustrated. I was mad in my backyard, screaming at myself. What's going on? It was the most frustrating thing. I'm sweating bullets.
Oh, that's great.
I got to put it together. It was great.
You got to pay people to put that stuff together for you.
But I'm going to be locked down for a month. I need to learn something. I might have to take up a trade. I didn't know what was happening. When the quarantine happened, I said, okay, I got to take a trade.
That's great.
So
hey, great to talk to you. Always great. We appreciate your time, and good luck with X versus X, and of course the book that's available wherever books are sold.
Hey, thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
All right, that's Metta World Peace. Always one of our favorites. Oh.